This film has been classified 18, which means it's for adults only. It may also contain some very explicit language, which will frequently mean sexual swear words. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the film.
Yo ho 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 ho!
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas, one and all!
Fucking hell. This is festive as fuck. Listen to these bells.
Yes, it's Christmas time!
I can't believe it's come around again so quick.
I've taken a leaf out of Tarb's book this year and actually had some cider and figs.
Cider.
How do you like it?
Absolutely brilliant.
Game changer.
I'm sure you at home have got your cider and figs. You've had vice versa on by now, I would have thought, if you're after a Christmas film. For those who don't know what we're on about, last year we did our first Christmas episode where Tarby was up to pick a Christmas classic from the 80s. And he picked that awesome classic, Vice Versa.
Yeah, well, going back a little while ago now, you were actually researching Christmas films, weren't you? And I believe it was right up there in the immediate search.
I mean, technically, I guess Vice Versa is a Christmas film because it has a quarter of a Christmas tree in it for 1 second.
Well, it's interesting.
Don't talk to me, talk to Hollywood.
Because there's all debate about the film that we're watching today, whether or not it's a Christmas film.
Oh, there is.
That's
What a segue!
Say no more.
You could ride home on that segue, couldn't you? Fucking hell. You could charge people to ride that segue around Vegas. There was loads you could go for. Obviously, with it being Christmas in the 80s, there is loads on there. But I thought, no, let's just go big. Let's go really big.
Because bigger is better.
So I decided to go for Die Hard. I first came to this film as a kid. I think I watched it on TV. It's one of those ones I remember there being a break for the news in between. I think I might have videoed this one because after the news it was really late when the film came back on, wasn't it? It'd be like 11 or it'd finish like midnight. So I think I watched the first bit.
How old were you, do you reckon?
7 or 8 maybe. And I fucking loved it. I thought it was the best things I'd ever seen as that age. So that's where I came to. And then I've obviously
Continued to love it.
it's probably one of the films I've seen more than any other film, I would say. Yeah, so where did you come to with Die Hard?
I can't remember the first time I saw it. I think my first memory of it was like, do you remember on the trailers at the beginning of a video when they had widescreen? Widescreen, as it was meant to be seen.
Widescreen, as they were meant to be seen.
And like the videos it was showing was like Alien and the other one was Die Hard.
I got 2 others. I got Close Encounters and Lawrence of Arabia, I remember.
On your widescreen
I thought that was
advert.
on the Short Circuit trailer. You've seen everybody?
That was it with the little square with
But
But
yeah.
widescreen, man.
You can savor the true experience of these blockbusters in their original format. Widescreen.
He's banging the grating and it falls down the elevator shaft and then it's like, see the extra fucking 5 foot or whatever.
Right.
But that's my first memory of Die Hard, is seeing the widescreen advert and being like, oh, that looks fucking cool. You know, I watch it every single year at Christmas and I fucking love it. And I love it more every time I watch it.
Die Hard, still great.
We had that Die Hard party, didn't we, where we all dressed as John McClane and watched all of them back to back.
Well, the first 3.
The only 3.
The only 3. Yeah, the only 3 that we'll be talking about or saying is canon, I think, for this.
I actually can't remember the first time I ever saw it. It was when I was younger.
You were younger yesterday, Al.
Well, true. And I'll be younger than I am tomorrow.
Oh, fucking rotten. It's so philosophical.
I don't know. Early teens, maybe? I haven't seen it for a very long time, actually.
Haven't you?
No. But it's one of those films that you put on and you just instantly remember all of it.
Yeah.
It's ingrained.
Yeah. But yeah, great. I loved watching it again.
Weirdly, same sort of thing. I've got a feeling I was around about 14, but I tell you what, I'm guilty of not appreciating this film the first time round, and for that reason I didn't really
Understand it.
I didn't really watch it again for a few years. But then, by chance, I came across like Die Hard with a Vengeance, and that is just such an awesome Die Hard film.
It's fucking great, Die Hard with a
It's
Vengeance.
underrated, though.
I think I saw the second one before the first one as well.
Yeah, well then,
Sure.
because of the third one, I then went back and watched the first one, and then I was like, oh, brilliant, okay, and I watched the first one, I was like, that's fucking amazing. And then I had this moment where I was like, there's got to be a second one.
Sure as night follows day.
Really? So I was like super excited, and that's not a bad one either, but
It's the worst one. But
The second one?
Of course it is.
I do.
Out of the 3.
I do regret actually. Should I pick Die Hard 2? Because I've seen it way less, and yeah, it isn't as good. I've probably not seen it for like 20 odd years. Die Hard 2.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen it more recently than that. But I don't know, I feel like, there's going to be a lot of people... no, that's a lie. There's going to be people listening to this.
1 or 2.
A handful of people
who might not, believe it or not, have seen any of the Die Hards, and it's a good place to start. So I think, right...
I don't think
it's
they'd be
alright.
watching this if they hadn't seen Die Hard.
You should definitely start with Die Hard 1.
Yeah, that's what I'm
if
saying. Like, if they haven't seen any, then this is going to be a good little intro
You
for them.
definitely should go and watch that film rather than listen to us explain it badly to you.
But make sure you listen to this as well.
After.
Yeah, or simultaneously. Yeah, so Die Hard then, 1988, it was adapted from a book. I think the book bears little resemblance.
Nothing lasts forever.
Nothing lasts
Frank
forever.
Sinatra was like the John McClane character in it, wasn't he?
This book was a sequel to another book. It was a part 2, and I think Frank Sinatra, the main character, when they did the movie of the first book.
I don't know.
But he wasn't even called John McClane, they had a different name, they changed the name.
Yeah.
You're Joe Leland, detective, prowling a city sick with violence.
Hans was Gruber, though.
Where are the similarities in this film, sorry?
Well, it's exactly the same, isn't it?
Same person.
Well, it's not quite the same.
It was different. The book is quite different, isn't it?
It's a bit different.
Different, man, but the same, you know?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say I read the book, because, I mean,
You can't read.
Can't even read.
I'm a Dr. Zeus man. But reading the synopsis, everyone, on the back, I think it sounds pretty fucking similar to the film.
So I know that a big part of the production behind this Fox, wasn't it, that made this, and at the time they were building Fox Tower, which is the Nakatomi Tower in the film, and it was still in construction.
Still several floors under construction.
So I know the screenwriters
They're like, can we borrow this?
Yeah, well, they were like, go in and have a look. So the screenwriters would actually go into the skyscraper while it was being built, and a lot of the things you see was actually like, oh, we could do this, and they'd be looking around it.
Because they hadn't finished the film a day when they started.
No, there was loads of rewrites, improvisation. So a lot of things, like the bit, you know, when Carl, when he's like hung up on the thing,
Yeah.
they only came up with that because they saw that in there and like, oh, we could use that.
Yeah.
And there's loads of it like that. The only set I think they built was the set with the waterfall.
Like the main room,
The
like.
main room, yeah. So the director was John McTiernan.
Well, coming off the back of Predator. Fuck me.
Yeah.
So John McTiernan, I mean, he's one of the most underrated directors. What's his back catalogue?
And for Red October,
Hunt for Red
Yeah.
October, Predator,
Yeah.
this,
Last Action Hero.
Last Action Hero, and then. Do you know what I mean?
What else has he done?
That was about it.
Man, well, what he did do was really. If you look Predator in this alone,
Yeah. Well, obviously, two of the best films ever.
Yeah.
Back to back. He was fucking on fire.
but he's got a style, isn't he? Which is like, it's not too showy and it's not too flashy.
It's
It tells
like.
the story.
Yeah, it's like gritty but quality as well. isn't it?
Realism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are full of big words tonight. aren't
Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
You get a
Oh,
dictionary
you
for Christmas.
swallowed a thesaurus.
Yeah, he's got a definite style, and I think he's really good at, like, with all of his action sequences, like the whole way through the film, we'll get into, you know where everybody is. And
The angles he shoots, like some of the angles of John McClane in this, like, you know, when he goes around corners or bursts through a door, it's almost like a point of view kind of thing, but
yeah, he lets you really get into the action and follow it. Because a lot of films nowadays, you're watching like, what the fuck's going on? There's a lot of people shooting or doing whatever. You don't know where anyone is in relation.
yeah.
And John McTiernan's very, very good at that. And obviously Bruce Willis as the...
Bruce Willis is fucking killing it in this. He's fucking
great, isn't he?
amazing in this.
Yeah, he's great.
And the saddest thing, or there's two sad things. The first sad thing is John McTiernan said that his prime motivation as John McClane is that he hates himself, which is real sad.
That's great, John. Good job. Very mature.
But the other sad thing is that you used to look at him years ago and think, fucking hell, he's bald, and he's got more hair than all of us. He's got more hair than every single person in this room.
Yeah. And I remember as a kid you watch and go, hey, look, he's fucking bold.
Look at that bald old
Yeah.
Because they didn't want him, did they?
Well, they wanted Arnie and fucking Sylvester Stallone
Because he
first,
was only
didn't
doing Moonlighting, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So they didn't see him as like a leading man.
they? Didn't
but
get like an unprecedented amount of money or something for...
Yeah, so he got $5 million for this, which was like, yeah, big money.
Can I just say, I think that when you try and summarise this film and imagine what is it, that little magic thing that makes it what it is, imagine if it had been Arnie.
There was that rumour there that this was going to be Commando 2, which was like a false rumour, but I mean, it wouldn't have been Die Hard, but it would have been a fun film.
I imagine it would have been like that skyscraper film with fucking The Rock in.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
That's the thing about Bruce Willis in this, is he's an everyman, isn't he?
He is. He's got a real
Yeah.
dad bod. He's got a hairy dad bod.
Blue collar.
Yeah,
He
you know,
is.
but he doesn't look like he's been to the gym, but he just still looks like he would kick your ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's a street fighter,
that
and he's
goes
fucking
back,
brawn.
that goes back to the sort of like director though, isn't it? Where it is all very sort of true to life. Do you know what I mean? Like the stuff that's happening in there is stuff that you could realistically see happening. It's not
Yeah,
too
the
over
fights
the
aren't
top.
like,
It's like
yeah.
It's an actual fight, isn't it?
And actually, in a way, like thinking about it, it's quite similar to Predator because the way that Predator's shot with all of those like real close camera work, isn't it? Because you're obviously in such a dense jungle.
Yeah.
And like the way that you negotiate through the sort of like the offices and all, you know, the hallways and all that sort of stuff, everything is real
Like
close.
the urban jungle.
The urban jungle.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
But yeah, Bruce Willis is fucking amazing in this.
He's an easy guy to like. Come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs. And a hard man to kill.
Take away with Die Hard films, what are your other top three?
Top 3 other Bruce Willis films. Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction, yeah.
Is that a Bruce Willis vehicle though?
I tell you what, I fucking love Unbreakable. I really love
He's just got no
Unbreakable.
character in Unbreakable,
It's
is
a
he?
great fucking film. Man, there's Last Boy Scout, but he's just John McClane in that.
Oh, yeah, Last Boy Scout. Yeah. That's fucking. He is John McClane. I mean, it'd be good if they'd fucking just called him John McClane in that.
Yeah, he should have been. There's Fifth Element, obviously.
Fifth Element.
That's great.
That is
That's
class.
great.
I do love. I bet you're a fan of this one, Tom. Hudson Hall.
I knew you were going to say Hudson
I
Hall.
do like
It's-
Hudson Hall, man. It is so 90s.
It's not great.
It's a guilty pleasure. It's fucking
well,
amazing.
Swing on a star.
It's fucking great. Well, maybe one day if we do the 90s, we may stumble upon that classic 90s Hudson Hall.
What's happened to Bruce Willis as well?
Oh, he ain't well, is he?
No, I mean, judging by his recent films, he fucking ain't well. 'Cause they are
They
terrible.
reckon he's been declining for years, don't they? But the thing is, they're saying now that that's why he's been an asshole for years.
He's been a notorious arsehole, I think,
Since
this film. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith came out and he said a load of stuff about working with him. It's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
The guy's like, he's a real nasty guy and that apparently. But I mean, he had this golden period, didn't he, in the 80s where he was doing loads of cool stuff.
He did a few things.
Even like Death Becomes is a fucking great film.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's fun. Yeah,
Sin City.
that's real good.
He's amazing in Sin
City's real
City.
Tell
good.
you what, that's an underrated film since.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
good.
great film.
I think because the sequels that was so shit, but that one film on its own,
Yeah.
is fucking great. Sin
Oh, I
City.
love
Yeah,
the
Sin
Woods in
City
that,
Top.
man.
That's fucking great
Once
film.
a long time ago.
Man, that is such a good film. Man.
Yeah.
Planet Hollywood.
Planet Hollywood. Planet Hollywood was such a cool thing.
Sylvester
wasn't
Stallone.
yeah.
It was a good idea, wasn't it?
And Arnie.
They were like, they opened a restaurant and then celebrities would go there, so you could have a meal and be like, oh, there's a fucking celebrity over there.
I never went in it, but I saw the one in London. We didn't go for food in there, and it's too expensive. But I think in the window they had like fucking a Terminator or some shit. It was all like, you know, they had props from the
I
film.
wonder how often a celeb would be in there.
Do they now invite
Never.
you to entice people in?
Oh, they would do now, I won't. Okay, well, look, should we just get into it?
Yeah, let's go. It's Christmas. Let's indulge.
Fucking hell, I love this film.
You've got to start with the fucking Fox logo, though.
Yeah.
That's so
Classic.
nostalgic, isn't it?
We open with the sort of airplane scene. It's amazing the way it's shot and the colours in this. It's kind of like a bit yellowy. It's a bit Michael Bay-ish.
A little bit, yeah.
I think it's kind of like the pollution in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Sun setting over the misty waviness of Los Angeles.
Yeah. And we open with John McClane on a plane.
He's 33.
Is he fucking 33 in this?
He's 11 years younger than me.
Fucking hell, man. Isn't that sad?
It is.
Yeah, insane.
They're coming into land and the guy next to him can see that he's gripping the handles next to him. So he says, like, you know, I've been travelling for 9 years. He goes, you know, the secret to travel is like wherever you get where you're going, take off your shoes and socks and make fists with your
Make
toes.
fists with your toes.
Fist with your toes.
John McClane, he's 33, and I remember as a kid thinking he was bald, but fucking, he's looking in his prime.
He's in good shape.
Yeah.
He's fucking handsome guy, isn't he?
He is buff.
There's this weird, like, sort of through line they have the whole way through the film, especially in this beginning bit, about any woman he sees.
He's eyeing up girls all the way through the
Well,
film.
she's doing the eye fucking in this. She instigates
The air hostess
That's true,
is.
that-
Yeah, she's staring at him as soon as he gets up out of his seat.
He's a handsome man.
I know, but what I'm saying is that in the 80s, all we've come across so far is men mad dogging women.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this one is a role reversal. She makes eye contact with him first.
When I've watched this before, I've always thought, John McClane, he's a bit of a scumbag, you know, because obviously it's his wife and they're still together and that. But then this time I watched it and thought, well, actually, because he hasn't been with her for 6 months, is he sort of like testing the water of his newfound freedom? Do you know what I mean? And the other thing's like, if it's all about him hating himself, has he probably cheated on her before in the past? And is that part of it?
I think he's a New York guy.
He's
fucking
never
LA.
said he's sorry, is he? That was his.
Yeah,
He's just checking out.
I don't think he's finding newfound freedom in 6 months. I think he's kind of like, you know, he's not used to these like women maybe being like, you know, he's from New York. Like,
Do you think they can just see that in him?
I'm walking here! I'm walking here!
They know where he's coming from. But, like, you know, what I mean
Motherfuckers from New York.
is that maybe he's never been stared at like that before. So maybe he's just like, hello.
Oh, maybe the LA thing, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, anyway, as John McClane thanks the guy for the advice, the passenger who sat next to him sees that he's packing. And by that, I don't mean...
His trade apartment, like.
He's packing dick. He is packing a firearm.
That's the 80s for you, isn't it? I just carried a gun on a plane.
Well, he's a cop, though, isn't he? So,
He is, but, you know,
It
it
doesn't
was-
show you him getting on the plane or being like screened or anything, going through a metal detector or showing
He
his
must
badge.
have spent hours going through security with that.
You reckon?
Yeah, hours.
Well, it was the 80s,
Even
though,
88.
Yeah, I mean, no, even in the 80s, I don't think you could take a fucking gun on a plane.
They would have seen the New York emanating out of him as he walked down towards them.
Oozing
Let
New
him
York.
carry it.
Yeah, get out of here.
He was eating a bagel and a slice of pizza.
A cannoli in one hand, like.
Come on, go eat my pizza. As he stands up, you can see his gun, but he says to the guy, don't worry, I'm a cop. And he said, I've been doing this 11 years. So it sort of sets up that he's a bit experienced.
So he's been a cop since he was 22.
Another great thing about this film, this whole beginning bit, that scene, the whole scene with Argyle coming up, it's all
Exposition.
It's fucking great.
But they hide it in such an organic way.
It's only this time I was watching it, I was like, fuck me, I've never noticed this is just exposition.
The way they do it is fucking brilliant.
Just that little bit of back and forth with him, you've established he's a police officer, and like you said, he's been doing it for 11 years, so he's seasoned vet. You've straight away.
Why he's going to take his shoes off later on.
Yeah.
Everything that happens in this film has like got a connection. There's so much going on all the time.
Everything in that limo is like you get all of his backstory within like 5 minutes.
I think
it's fucking fantastic.
This is one of the best,
the pacing is fucking brilliant.
This is one of the best Hollywood scripts that's ever been written. I can't think of many films where almost everything that's mentioned is a plot point. In the film, there's not. I can't even think of another film which does it as well as this does.
I'm not surprised he didn't do many films after this.
He's knackered.
His brain was fucked.
He's like, I've done
so much into this.
It's like having a big shit.
Yeah.
I don't.
And then this happens. That's because of that.
If you're only going to ever make one film, it might as well be fucking Die Hard. You fucking nailed it. He comes off the plane, and again we see him eyeballing some other blonde.
Yeah, but it looks like she's running towards him though, doesn't she? Because it's like one of those things where they're like running. And
well, he's eyeing her up, when she runs past.
Yeah.
Isn't that the bit where he turns around and says like California?
So again, you've established there in Los Angeles. It's so fucking good, this film. And then he looks out and we see fucking Argyle, and we introduce him for the first time.
He's fucking standoffish, Bruce Willis, in this, isn't he? With everyone, he's such a to everyone.
Within a few minutes, he gets on board.
He warms up, but
he's
like,
he kind of thinks he drops his guard a little bit. But anyway, Argyle though, who's a first-time limo driver, which I thought was quite clever because what did he do before?
He was a taxi driver.
That's right. But he's doing his first ever limo pickup. But he stood there and he stood in a crowd of fucking people with a board that says Jay McClane on it, and he's holding it down by his dick. There's no way you're going to be able to see that, but somehow John McClane does. But then I thought, what a stupid fucking limo driver. But then he's like, well, it's my first time. So he would. He stood there with a fucking sign that nobody can see.
Have you ever been picked up by one of those?
Yeah.
Like someone holding your name at an airport. Yeah, it's
Amazing.
fucking great. I've had it once. I mean, it's fucking brilliant. Felt so out of place.
Feel like a real big dick.
No, like we got to the car and I was like, fuck, man. I think I ordered the wrong car here. Like, I just wanted a car.
We cut from that to see the other people in this story. One of the interesting things about Dog, when they were making the film, they thought that Bruce Willis was going to have to film loads on Moonlighting, which was the TV show he was in at the same time. So they didn't think they'd have a huge amount of time to film Bruce Willis. So the script writers said, right, we're going to have to make all the other people's parts in this bigger. And when you watch it, he is brilliant in it. Obviously, Alan Rickman's brilliant in it. But the entire cast...
Everyone's brilliant in it.
And you get everyone that's got their own little story going on and they're actual characters. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah, it's so fucking good. So we pick up with Holly, who's John McClane's wife, and we see that she works at...
I'm starting to really fucking fancy her. Now, I mean, she's 40 in this.
There's something about her.
She's nice in this. Her name is Bonnie Belladelia Culkin.
No way.
She's his auntie.
She's Macaulay Culkin's auntie?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you like her because she wouldn't put up your shit?
I don't know. I like her now that she's slightly younger than me. she's 40, but she looks a bit naughty, doesn't she?
She's a MILF.
Yeah.
She's like an 80s MILF.
She's a capable lady.
She is. Well, she's worked her way up that company.
She
hasn't
fucking has. She's number 2 at the Nakatomi Plaza.
Yeah. It's a Japanese company. Anyway, so we introduce her and we see one of her co-workers who has appeared on this podcast before.
He has. Yes, he has.
So we're introduced to Ellis.
He's such a twat.
Smarmy prick.
So this is the first time I noticed this today. She calls him Harry at the beginning because his name is Harry Ellis.
Is it Harry Ellis?
Yes, I've heard it before, and I was like, I wonder if she said like his name in real life accidentally, and then it didn't get picked up in the edit. But then when I had a look online, because I thought she said Harry, and his name's Harry Ellis.
Harry, it's Christmas Eve.
So it's a dig at him, like.
What?
First naming him.
Yeah, like
Harry. Well, I don't. I mean, if anything, calling him Ellis is a dig.
Well, no.
Because
insinuated.
Takagi calls him Ellis.
Yeah.
But obviously, so we're introduced to Ellis, who is trying to basically come onto her a bit, and he's like trying to entice her to go to a fireplace and have a bottle of wine. And
This guy is the ultimate greasy original yuppie. Yeah. Like he is such a yuppie.
Do you think they maybe have banged, or at least
no, she wouldn't bang him, would she?
No.
I didn't know whether it's alluded to that perhaps they have been a bit closer than within that 6 months.
No,
he's just crazy.
Holly McClane's a saint.
What do you say? I don't know if anything happened, but I think maybe
smirching a good name, like.
Yeah, maybe.
No, she would not 100% have a part of him.
She spurns his advances, and we're introduced to him being sort of a bit of a sort of slime ball. But obviously, the other film that he was in that we've reviewed is Supergirl. And he's awful in that, but he's amazing in it.
What year was Supergirl?
84.
Yeah.
So it's like fucking just 4 years later.
He's
honed his skill.
I mean, it is a shit film. Supergirl.
They wanted the Ellis character to be more of a businessman go-getter, didn't they? And he was him that brought the sleazy character to it.
Oh, was it?
And they were like, go on then.
It's totally the right decision.
Yeah.
For the first part of his appearance, you think that it's just bad acting, but later on he does little things, and you're like, oh, he's being that smarmy and twattish. It's like, oh my god.
I think he's one of those actors that was so good at being a smarmy twat in this.
It ruined his career.
It ruined his career. That's why he's never been in anything else since, because I couldn't watch him in anything else. I don't think.
It's got some classic 80s arseholes in this film, isn't it?
Yes. Well, that's the thing with this film is everyone, apart from like the main characters, are incompetent assholes. All the cops, all the fucking news crew, are incompetent and assholes. Everyone's just an arsehole on it.
Classic 80s arsehole, the newsman.
Yeah.
And one of the cops, he's classic 80s fucking
Dwayne
arsehole.
Johnson.
He's
So we have the scene with Holly. Then she phones up her help at home. She's got like a lady that works for her au pair or whatever. And we establish that the kids are at home and the au pair's looking after him. And she says, "Oh, maybe make the spare bed up for John McClane." I do it already. What do I do without you?
She goes, "What would I do without you?" and hangs up without saying goodbye.
Well, they don't say goodbye on the phone in America.
And they never do.
No.
They don't just hang up.
It's an American
Were
thing.
you like,
are you sure?
Trust me, it's a fucking American thing. The Americans don't say goodbye on the phone.
do they say hello?
They say hello, yeah, but they don't say goodbye. You watch it on loads of films.
Well, no, I know watch on those films, so I thought that was just for the convenience of ending the scene.
It's an American thing. They just put the phone down there.
What, if you're not in continuous conversation, you're done.
What happens if you put the phone down and someone else is talking?
Well, the American, they ain't got the time for that.
Bring them back.
Yeah.
Oh, fine, finish then.
You bastard.
How, you won't be like, where the fuck did you go?
Yeah, that's mad. Because if you're like, oh, see you later. Oh, before you go, I just want to. Do you know what I mean? You might have something more to say.
Well, I think you both just know that. Yeah, this.
You just got to keep talking.
This is wound down. This conversation.
We've run out of steam. A lesson that we should learn on this podcast. So there's a picture of her and John and the kids, and she puts it down.
Yeah, she rings the house and speaks to the kids, and the daughter says, "Is Daddy going to come home?" And she was like, "Well, we'll see what Mummy and Santa can work out." And I think she doesn't think he's coming because she doesn't know he's there at that point, so she puts the picture down in a bit of defiance.
And that's like a massive plot point.
So then we flip back to they're having a drive and they have a little back and forth, him and Argyle, and again, like I said, it's all exposition, but they've done it.
Argyle's fucking pushy though. I'd be like, mate.
He's like, come on, man, come on.
You'd be like,
that's where I think John McClane drops his guard. He's almost like, I'm in a new place, you know, I won't be a twat, because it doesn't take much to coax it out of him.
I don't know, I think it's more like, I think he kind of likes him.
Yeah,
he likes his pushy behaviour.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Argyle's like 21 or some shit. Yeah, so they have a great little exchange. These two establish a lot about John's character, the relationship with his wife.
He said she had a good job that turned into a great career, so basically she had to move to LA. Argyle gets out of him that he didn't move from New York because he figured his wife would fail and want to come back to him.
Yeah,
well, he didn't say that, did he? John just said that like he had loads of cases, that he had a 6-month backlog of like perps. They needed to
but
lock
then
up.
Argyle said so in other words.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a bit of both.
You thought she'd be coming back.
Yeah, but Argyle got to the bottom of it, didn't he?
And then we have the first sort of needle drop of the whole film, where we have Run DMC, which is a fucking awesome tune.
It is a good tune.
It's fucking great Christmas tune.
It's not.
It is.
I can't stand that shit. I can't. New Christmas! It's fucking bad.
Yeah, it's a poor call from
No.
DMC. It is.
No, it's a great tune, man.
Okay. I mean, I don't listen to hip hop. Yeah, it's not for me.
Not for me.
It sounds a bit like something that MC Hammer would do.
You looking like MC Hammer?
Exactly.
Like, you can't touch this, what can you do? Why don't you celebrate his whole album?
What else did he do?
Hammer Don't Hurt Them.
He had a cartoon as well, didn't he? Didn't he have a
Oh,
cartoon series?
you
Yeah.
jumped the gun with that. I think Run DMC did as well, actually.
MC Hammer jumped the gun with his cartoon.
I think they thought he was going to be way more popular than he actually was, MC Hammer.
I liked his hammer pants.
You got to be mad popular to have your own fucking cartoon, you know what I mean? You got to be like fucking
Mr. T.
Yeah.
I bet he was
He
huge.
deserved every bit of that.
He did.
Mr. T and his team of gymnasts. And Spike the dog. Yeah, when they get their first sort of wide shot of Nakatomi Towers.
And Argyle says, look, don't worry, I'll wait down in the basement. You can head in. If things don't work out with your wife, give me a call and I'll give you a lift somewhere else.
Yeah, he's sound, isn't he?
Yeah.
It turns out later in the film you can hear him on the phone to his missus and he's told his boss that he's taking the guy he picked up from the airport to Vegas.
Yeah.
So he's expecting him to be gone for hours.
Yeah,
So he's just living at large in the back of the limo.
And I think the Nakatomi Corporation are picking up the bill. Yeah. So when John gets to Nakatomi Plaza, he goes up, security guard's there, and we're establishing the building here. Do you know what I mean? Because the building is a character.
Yeah, we're seeing all the entrances, the exits, the lifts, the hallways.
When John McClane's walking along, you can tell he's got like a policeman's eye on the place.
He's always on duty.
He's like
He's
he's picking up all the little
He's checking
all the information.
That shady dude who stood next to the lift.
Well, that's John's problem. He's married to the badge, isn't he?
He is.
That's the
He
fucking
just
problem.
can't turn it off.
I don't think I know how.
He can, do you know what I mean? He fucks his life up, doesn't it?
He does.
But he's just too fucking good at his job.
He is.
Anyway, so he walks up to the counter, the New York just pouring out of him.
Yeah.
He fucking stands there.
Pools of New York all around him.
Gushing New York out of him.
And so it turns out there's a little touchscreen 80s computer, which would have been mad advanced for 88, that you have to type into. And
Yeah,
so,
he was like, oh, this thing will even take you for a piss or whatever it is. It's like, I mean, no, let's not go that far. It's like a BBC fucking Mac or whatever it is.
if you'd seen that computer in 88, it would have blown your fucking mind.
Yeah,
But I don't believe it.
It's state of the art shit, yeah. Anyway, he puts a name in, he tries to find Holly McClane, he doesn't. And he realises that Holly has changed her name to Holly Gennaro.
It's a maiden name.
That fact might become important later on in the film. I think we cut then to a van.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
so
see,
you basically see like a 40-ton rig and a
Bit of fucking truck.
Fucking hell. Is it a
truck watched? 10-4, Top.
You're welcome, good buddy.
Is it a Leyland Daff?
It's a Ford, I believe.
Oh, fucking hell.
Well, it's such a cool shot. So it's being sort of flanked by a van that's obviously full of bad guys as well. But basically, the truck and the van arrive at Nakatomi and they're side by side.
One goes down and one goes up.
The lorry disappearing is just such a cool shot.
And it's got that Ode to Joy Christmas song, but like in a much lower, sinister key.
so
So
That's great later on as well when he uses that later on.
I mean, just that little shot, it establishes something to miss here, do you know what I mean? There's something
but they're
to-
slick with it as well, aren't
Yeah,
they?
you get that straight away. It's like, ooh.
Yeah.
Even the colour as well. Because it's still got that like orangey.
It's like sunset.
The golden hour, as they call it. Right, so then we cut up to the party, and John McClane enters.
He's looking at all the ladies at the party.
And as he walks around, you see him sort of, he's a fish out of water, isn't he, in this? Do you know what I mean?
That guy comes up and wishes him Merry Christmas and
Kisses his face.
Yeah, he gives him a kiss, yeah. And his face when he gets kissed.
He didn't know whether he liked it or not.
In California.
Yeah, the California was pouring out of that guy who kissed him. And it clashed with the New York.
A positive and negative.
I see what you've latched onto here. Good luck with it. Run with it.
Yeah, so we see he's at the party, and then we're introduced to Mr. Takagi, who is like the CEO, I guess.
But he's fronting immediately with him as well. He just fronts.
This barrier that he's got sets you up for such an emotional bit later on.
And Mr. Takagi takes him through to Holly's office. So they walk up to Holly's office, he opens the door, and this is great because fucking Ellis is trying to have a cheeky line.
He's just had one.
He's literally fucking fantastic acting from that guy.
That man has had coke before.
That man's been busted having coke before because the way he like brushes it off.
When John McClane's assessing the room and the camera's on him, you watch Ellis and he's kind of like... And he's doing like little swallows and sniffs.
But John McClane is not letting him get away with it.
But he turns around and he's got that smile on
But
his
Mr.
face.
Tank's like, he's a policeman.
Yeah.
He's just like,
He's a policeman.
This is what you would do.
You would.
in his shoes, like sort of thing as well. There's like
and Casey cracked it out for everyone. I reckon Mr. Takagi's had a cheeky one with Ellis.
he's probably
That's why he thought there was a danger of like Ellis going, "Oh, you got to rack another one up for you two as well." It's like,
He drops a great line there, doesn't he? Ellis is wiping his nose and he looks back and he's like, you missed some.
Yeah, well that's great. That's where he's fronting and he's
Yeah.
like letting him know that I know exactly what you were fucking doing, mate.
Yeah.
And I bet Ellis gets some proper fucking wanger.
oh, some Peruvian flake.
Do you reckon he gets it off the guy from Secret of My Success? After you became so fucking as a yuppie.
Yeah.
That's where you get your coke from, innit? So yeah, them two, they're sort of like fronting, and Ellis is fucking brilliant in this. But
He's such a twat, yeah.
He's amazing. He's such an amazing twat.
It's because he just had a load of wanger. That's why.
Well, if you think about it, it explains a lot of his behaviour in the next bit. So Holly turns up and there's a little bit of a moment.
This
between her
is
and John.
bit I fucking love. She comes in, she's like, John. It's fucking amazing. Her acting's amazing. His acting's amazing. And like both their guards drop. They just love each other.
Yeah.
And it's just such a nice, like, tiny little moment.
And you think about it, like if you were ended up being away from your partner for 6 months now, I mean, you got Zoom and you got like your iPhone and you got video. It wouldn't be the same, but you would be able to speak a lot more. Back then, you would literally been like when you were both at a fucking landline.
Yeah.
You could have maybe called each other, and you know they probably haven't been speaking much anyway. You know,
Well, they haven't seen for however long, have they?
So it's very well played.
Yeah, I think they do a little bit where he goes to kiss her on the cheek and she has this moment where she wants to really give him a hug, but then I think she fights it back.
But then Ellis is fucking busting in then, fucking peacock chesting.
Because he's had his line of wanger, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's itching to talk.
Yes.
That's what she wants to say. So yeah, show him the watch.
Show him the watch.
Show him the watch.
That sounds like someone who's done a load of wanger would say.
It's a Rolex.
A Rolex! A Rolex!
Another thing that when you first watch it, you think this is a throwaway comment, but will it come into play later?
Who knows?
John's like, I'm sure, see you later. He's like, he don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He's like, get fucked.
Actively, I don't want to see that watch.
So they get John somewhere to wash up.
Mr. Takagi, he sent the limo, didn't he, to pick John up?
Yeah.
So did he set up John coming over? Or,
I think John was coming over, she mentioned it to her boss.
And it was still the party, and I think he was like,
just
well,
like,
we'll pay for him to
yeah.
come here. And
Fuck paying for his plate, though.
They got a few quid Nakatomi, didn't they?
A few.
Well, they got that Indonesia project going on in the Philippines.
I think he said it's more than just a couple of projects.
They're a big corporation.
Yeah.
So then we have the scene with John and his wife, where he's sort of getting washed up, and she comes in to sort of speak to him, and they're having quite a nice sort of interaction. She offers that he can come and stay at her place rather than, you know, staying with his mate or whatever.
She still fancies him.
Definitely a chemistry still there between them, isn't there? But then he can't help himself.
He's just such a dick, isn't he?
He didn't have to say it, but he brings up the thing about, you know,
He's got to start an argument.
Yeah, and it just dissolves into an argument. And like as soon as she walks out, he's like banging his head.
Yeah, he gives himself some shit about that.
Sort of beating himself up about bringing up.
Beating himself off.
Yeah.
She gets called away to go and give a speech to the workers, doesn't she?
That pregnant lady comes in and he's like, can we give a speech? And he's like, hi.
Yeah.
He's such an asshole. He didn't give a fuck, is
And
he?
you get that couple who burst in there as well, looking for somewhere to bang.
They're banging later, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So
Great recall to that, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, they made it, well done.
They didn't quite, did they?
Well, no, but they found a room. So then you see the arrival of the lorry reversing into a loading bay. Some accurate driving there.
It is.
The little tray drops off the back of the lorry and like goes straight up to the loading bay. The doors open up and a load of bad guys spill out, and right in the middle of it is Hans Gruber.
Well, what's not so accurate is that the ambulance wasn't in there because they hadn't written it in the script yet.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
What was in there then?
Just them.
What's the point of that fucking lorry for that shot?
It was carried in, but yeah, obviously they thought of the ambulance.
There's only like 15 of them.
Well, they wanted to
Can't
sneak
fit
into
in a car.
everything.
And then you get the car that pulls up outside the front as well.
Yeah.
The two guys get out, approach the front desk.
It's real good. He's like talking about something. He's like, he passes the Johnson as he walks up, and then they shoot the guy in the head.
He annoys me.
What's his name, that guy? The quarterback is toast.
Theo.
Yes.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, no, just his sports analogies and that quarterback is toasting. It just gets on my tits.
Well, so Theo comes up with one of the other sort of goons, and they come up.
He's that
one of the other what?
He's that mercenary that he's with is in Money Pit, who, like the musician, who's plays a very different character.
Yeah.
It's quite funny.
That's who he is in Money Pit. He's like a classical musician.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I was trying to figure out who it was, but
He fucking nails in this film, though.
So they shoot the guy in it, and they get in.
I think that stun grenade was overkill.
Oh, what, for the security guard?
Yeah, he could have just walked around the corner and shot him. He didn't need to throw out a stun grenade. He was just fucking.
pretty brutal though, weren't they?
Yeah.
They could have just like tied him up.
I think that was just a good little sinister moment. This little thing just comes rolling out of nowhere, and he's like, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah.
I suppose
And the good thing is, he comes around the corner to shoot him, and the black guy is like covering his eyes, and
He's stunned.
He has been stunned, yeah.
And then they've got their own guy dressed in sort of like a security sort of outfit.
Yeah, he's good as well as acting like the fucking like
He's
a board.
really good, yeah.
So in Die Hard with a Vengeance, we find out like basically there's Germans in that as well. But a lot of the Germans put on American accents. Do we know if that guy was a German playing an American?
I reckon he's American, just an American on their team.
He was a defector.
Well, it wasn't political. I think they were fucking thieves, aren't they?
He's a mercenary.
Okay.
So they knock down the tower. We see Cole's brother coming in. What's Cole's brother's name?
His name's Tony.
Me and Bill were going to go to the next Comic Con as Hans Gruber and Carl's brother.
That's also yeah, so Carl's brother goes down to cut the telephone lines, and then we cut to John with his shoes off, and he has a quick phone call to Argyle, and Argyle's just literally just sat in the
Argyle knows how to party. Do you reckon he's having a better party in that car than fucking Corey Haim was in the bath in Lost Boys?
I was watching this. He's literally.
He's getting pissed.
Yeah.
And he's talking to girls and playing music in the car and like dancing.
Sat next to a giant stuffed bear.
with shades on.
I mean, he's having a good time. Do you reckon he's had a bit of wanger himself? That's what he's calling everyone.
I reckon he's had a doobie.
You reckon? Do you reckon he toots the root, do you?
Right, so then we see Carl's brother.
Well, he's hooking up the telephone lines, isn't he? So they sort of divert to their computers, isn't it? So instead of phone lines going out and everything, all the phone lines will be directed to them so they can control what lines come in and out, I think.
Right.
Yeah, they're doing some sort of fucking tech shit. And so Carl comes along with his chainsaw, and you establish that they kind of got like a brotherly relationship here because he's like fucking with him. So he goes to cut them, and
Call it that brotherly. The guy stands up and shouts like 999, and he just fucking starts fucking fucking true. He wasn't stopping. It doesn't matter if that guy finished. I would call that brotherly.
It's the sort of thing brothers do to each other, isn't it? So they cut through there, but he manages to do it in time.
John's still on the phone though, isn't he? He cuts the phone off and he's like,
He's got his shoes off by this point, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's making fists with his toes.
Argyle's like, you got a number, use it.
He does say to Argyle, doesn't he? He rings him to sort of say, what's the verdict? And he was like, well, it's not decided yet. That's why Argyle stays.
Yeah. And so then we see the terrorists come into the room with the party. It's great the way they sort of slink around this door, and we see Alan Rickman. And Alan Rickman, I mean,
it's his first film.
How old is he in this film?
42.
Is he 42? Alan Rickman is in this. Fucking hell, he's looking good for 42.
That's his first film.
Yep.
He commands the role.
He'd done like whatever plays and stuff. I think he'd been doing like a lot of acting on stage, and then he moved to LA. And this was like within 2 days of being there, he auditioned for this film, and he got the part within a week. And he wasn't going to take it, and they all convinced him, said no, you got to do it. He's like, oh, it's like an action film. No, do it. But obviously, he's fucking amazing in this.
He's fucking great. The best thing about this film, and they use it in books as an example for a lot of like story writing, is that he's the exact opposite of John McClane.
Now you said that though about his reluctance to take it. Was his role playing a little bit shit on his part? Is that what made it so great?
No. He wanted to do it eventually, but his initial reaction was like, oh, I shouldn't do it.
Right.
I should get a more serious film for my first film.
Okay.
And not do an action film. So I think he threw himself into it, obviously.
Oh, that's good done.
Because he was a bit of a thesp, I suppose, wasn't he?
He is.
Yeah.
And he is, you say, the exact opposite of John. I mean, he's got the German is just pouring out of him. Do you know what I mean? It really clashes with the New York. Pouring out of John McClane.
Yeah.
But the other thing when this shot, when it comes out, we see Alan Rickman come out, and then into the one corner we see Viggo the Carpathian.
Who are we talking about?
The guy who played Viggo the Carpathian is one of the terrorists.
Which one?
You want to go Shiza?
You know when they're later on when they're like, I see him! It's the other one that's with him when they're firing at the fucking...
Oh, I know who you mean.
Yes, well, I've got some interesting facts about him.
Yeah, go on then.
I can tell you. So his name is Norman Group, and so his dad was a Nazi officer in a German death camp.
No way!
He was a fucking boxer. He was like the German Muhammad Ali. But he was like also well into drugs and crime and stuff.
Taking drugs and solving crime.
He went, the first time he went to prison was...
dressed as a Nazi.
He sold weed accidentally to an undercover police officer. And then the next time he went to prison, it was for bodily injury and aiding prostitution.
Fucking hell.
But he was real bad with money. He would big pimp it. Like when he was like a boxer, he used to spit on the crowd and stuff. He didn't give a fuck. And he was like well known for being like a bigoted asshole. Yeah. So he'd been in a couple of other films. Obviously, Viggo the Carpathian is his biggest role. But he was in Mouth of Madness as well. He was like, which is a good film.
Yeah,
that is good. That's Sam Neill.
He was a genuine Nazi.
It was his dad that was a Nazi.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
By the time he was a little bit older, he was living in his car because he just wasted all his money.
Right.
And he died at 63, living in his car of prostate cancer.
Fucking hell.
That was like around the 2000s.
Wow. Yeah, so Viggo is part of the gang.
Yes.
Right, and so then they come in and they let off some shots and alert everybody to
shoot that party up.
Tear that ass up.
So they start shooting and causing a bit of a panic, and of course John McClane hears this.
He sprang into action, didn't he?
Gun straight out the sheath.
A bit of gunplay going on. He's on duty.
But he refrains from running in, all guns blazing, doesn't he? Because I think he makes a decision that shit, there's like fucking however many, 11 of these terrorists, so that I'm...
Well, he's got no idea how many there are.
Yeah, but he knows there's...
Oh, you can hear a lot of guns going off.
I think it's his training kicking in. A lesser man, I think, would have gone in.
But do you think, like, if he'd have started taking them out now, all of those guys are firing and hurting people, if there'd have been a load of other gunshots, they wouldn't have noticed that he was taking them out one by one.
He was firing into unknown quantities.
It's true, yeah. I mean, he had to do a recon, didn't he?
And he had a limited amount of bullets.
He had a fucking pistol and they had like machine guns and that shit.
I tell you what, fucking Carl's machine gun makes such a cool noise.
It's a great one, isn't it?
So there's a couple of things with this. They used like extra big blank bullets for it. So they made larger muzzle flashes than they naturally would. And one of them caused Bruce Willis to go deaf.
Well, he lost 2/3 of hearing in one ear, didn't he?
Yeah, when he's under the table later on shooting the gun. And it's because of those blanks. They were extra loud. And then the sound crew didn't want to use the stock bullet sounds that Hollywood use all the time because they were too lame.
Yeah.
So they went in the desert and just fired loads of guns and re-recorded and made them like sound as fat.
Well,
as
they do sound fucking fat, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why the gunshots using it aren't the regular ones you get in normal films. It was made for it. So yeah, John McClane, he makes his escape, and we see Viggo the Carpathian comes to look in the room that John McClane was in, but he's not there.
John has had to leave just wearing what he was wearing, just his vest, his trousers, and he's not even got socks on.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously being in that sort of situation anyway, but without any shoes.
I mean, naked though would be much worse.
Yeah,
if he was just sat naked when it happened.
Yeah, it'd be terrible.
Because what buys McClane a couple of seconds is the fact that as they're going around the rooms, they burst into the room and there's that couple bucket.
There's a cheeky tit out.
There's a cheeky
is.
That one guy just doesn't look at it, doesn't he? The one terrorist
Vigo.
watches it as he's like,
Here's Vigo.
The little Christmas titty.
And that's the 2 seconds that he's
Festive
away
boob.
that lets John McClane escape to the fire escape.
Imagine being in someone. And then the bloke goes in with the gun and he's like, get the fuck up! You're like, what? He would have had to have had a lob on.
I mean, that would go pretty quick.
It would, but initially when they dragged him out, he would have been like at full mast. Do you know what I mean? For a short time.
There's a strong possibility he could have got it right at the precise second. Do you know what I mean? That he climaxed.
Maybe that would have been his thing forever
It would
after
have
that.
excited him.
He would have had to have come.
Can't get off unless somebody bursts in at gunpoint.
Well, he was a big fan of action films then, from then on.
You've got to blow your beans just as like.
Man, even if he didn't blow his beans, he's going to have the worst blue balls
Yeah.
ever.
But do you reckon they let him put his trousers back on? He's just being dragged around with his fucking dick
He'd be
out.
like, look man, I've got such bad blue balls, I've got to go knock it out. Just please, these balls are killing me.
Do you reckon Hans Gruber would have gone for that?
He'd be like, put that guy's dick away. For fuck's sake.
It's just still like fucking.
He's like stood there with his hands up and his dick hard. Like,
I got a full-on robot chubby.
This is strong American dick.
The funny thing about that couple is if you watch the film, even the bits later when they're going up on the roof, the couple are still together.
Are they?
So it's like they actually like stay together.
He just wants to finish.
do you reckon they're a couple, or do you reckon they're like
Oh
colleagues?
no, it's some like work fucking Christmas.
a work fling.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you think she's married?
I don't know.
Do you reckon he is?
Maybe.
Maybe.
He's divorced.
That piece of shit.
He's separated.
He's separated.
He's having a trial separation.
She's just moved down here from Connecticut.
Oh, right.
She actually worked in realty.
Connecticut was oozing out of her.
Connecticut was oozing into her. Oh, why'd you go there?
Anyway, then we have a nice little speech from Hans Gruber here.
Cold as fuck.
Yeah, he's got like a little leather file of facts or
I
whatever
don't
it
think
is.
I think it was blank because he's memorised all that information about Mr. Takagi.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
He's memorised such a big chunk of information about this bloke's life. And he fucking knew who he was from the start.
Oh, yeah,
He's
yeah, he
just
knew
fucking
who he was.
But the
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
is,
yeah.
he didn't need to do any of that. He could have just gone and got him. He's just fucking showboating.
Father
He's being such a
But that is,
Well, he's-
again, the
he's
timing
really-
on that though, when he finally admits who he is and he goes like, enough, and he turns around and his next point was, and father of five.
But do you reckon he's pissed off? He had a little more to say.
Well,
he cut him off.
I just think it's really chilling that he fucking, as soon as he finds out who he is, he mentions his family. He'd be like, oh.
It's just a great way of establishing that they're proper fucking serious. Though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like the killing of the guard straight away is like
yeah,
there's
yeah.
no tying up. Brutal, straight in. He's got all that information about Takagi and like, he knows everything about the company. They are serious. They're there to do a job.
That opening line of his.
Due to the Nakatomi Corporation's legacy of greed around the globe, they are about to be taught a lesson in the real use of power.
And you will be witnesses.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like they are not just fucking big players, they're mega players.
But he does quote, like, is it Alexander the Great or something he quotes as well?
Benefits of a classical education. Isn't
Yeah.
It?
He's been a twat there.
Yeah.
But every line that he says establishes that he is the opposite of John McClane. He's like he's extremely educated, fucking highly
He's
intelligent,
smart, isn't he?
sort of like.
John McClane is quite classically street smart.
Yeah, but,
exactly.
Hans
but
Gruber
there
is
is that,
educated.
because later on is the whole, like, he comes across as being all the educated sort of stuff, but essentially he's just there to steal money.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, there's nothing fucking fancy
he's got
about him.
the
He's just a
morals,
petty
yeah.
criminal, but
Well,
he has to
he's
start
not
an
though, isn't it? Because
education.
it is foresight into how he's going to do it.
I know, yeah. The way he's going to do it is great, but essentially he's just like a common thief, isn't he?
He's the evil guy.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
is, yeah. So he takes Takagi upstairs, and again we have the line about his John Phillips suit.
I have two myself.
That's cool.
It's
isn't it?
great.
He is too, and again he's just establishing that he's higher class, even though at this point we think he might be a terrorist. He comes from the well-to-do sort of world. So we go upstairs, and we have the first mention when he's talking to Takagi of the vault.
Yes.
And we get an inkling that, hang on, these guys aren't terrorists. So he starts to ask Takagi about the codes, because in the vault is held
$640 million in barra bonds.
He does not give that guy much of a chance. I think he could have cajoled him a little bit more.
Yes.
He's got no time for that, though, is he?
He's got
He gave him one opportunity.
no respect for human life. I don't think he gave him enough of an impression that he was going to kill him within those 3
He was
seconds.
unscrewing his silencer, and he was holding the gun, though.
If
when
someone
he
said
was,
to you, you've got to cat 3, you'd be like, oh.
I think the whole plan, he'd always planned on him not to.
He would have killed him
think-
anyway.
You
right?
reckon?
Yeah, I think he would
I
have killed him
think
anyway.
that was for the audience. It was setting his character up.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They kill the guard.
Yeah.
He comes up, and it's not for anybody else in the building. Nobody else sees it apart from his henchmen. It's letting us know that this guy ain't fucking about. He will kill you if he says he's going to kill you.
Well, I think what I mentioned before, in script writing they call it when you shoot the cat, and it's like the bad guy has to shoot the cat, and what it means is that you have to show why the bad guy's so bad. And him shooting Mr. Takagi is him shooting. It's like, oh fuck, this guy is fucking, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, it was either him or Holly, really, wasn't it, that he could have shot in order to do. I mean, like some
it had to be,
frail
it had
old
to,
man
it had to be
or
a
like
big
the
player.
woman. Yeah,
The
yeah.
fucking frail old man.
He's 59, Mr. Takagi.
So
He's
shit.
going to be George Takei.
Oh my.
Was it?
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
he was
yeah.
good. This guy was good.
No, he it was good, but yeah, it's the original.
Do you reckon that Mr. Takagi knew the code and took it to his grave?
I reckon he did.
Yeah.
He's sweating.
He had a little grin on his face, didn't he, when he said, "Oh, you might as well just kill me now." And he sort of had that little smile as if to say, like, "I'm not going to give it you, so fuck you," basically. And I think he called Hans his bluff.
Yeah, we got it wrong, didn't he?
Yeah, he got that wrong.
He fucked up.
He paid with the ultimate price.
He did.
Yes, seems to be the overwhelming answer to your question.
John McClane witnesses this, and he fucking sees him shoot him in the head, and he's like, oh, and then he fucking scarpers. And as he scarpers, they hear a noise. They're not 100% sure it's someone. But
he bangs his head.
Yeah, that's it. And so Carl and a couple of the other guys chase after him, but then they get to a door and it's locked, and you find that John McClane's behind that door. And he's managed to sort of escape, and so they think, oh, maybe it was nothing. And then we see the vault, and then we find out that there's an electric lock there. And I think we established that Theo says, oh, you need to sort out the electric locks, and he's like, oh, yeah, don't worry. It's got a plan.
It's got 6 manual locks, and it's got that electric lock around it for the 7th, isn't it? So once they break all the 6 locks,
it's magnetically sealed, isn't it?
Electromagnetic.
But a great plan for that as well. Like later on, it's fantastic.
John runs upstairs, and he's like, I think he's trying to work out what
It's good that he's talking to himself all the way through the film.
He has to talk to himself, doesn't he? Because otherwise, so much of this film would just be him just like silently
doing stuff.
When he was in the stairwell, and he was going up the stairs, and he was opening the doors to each floor, and as he was closing the door, you could hear him sort of repeating to himself what was on each floor. He was like 31 construction, 33 computers.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Just so like he was sort of figuring out what was on each floor. Like,
he's fucking oh man, what a cop!
It's super cop.
I mean, fair play to Bruce Willis in this. He's fucking great.
Do you ever watch it with subtitles on?
No.
I always find because like sometimes you just miss shit when you.
Yeah, no, I do sometimes, but this one was on Disney, which is tricky to get subtitles on. Sometimes there's a real lag.
I forgot it was on Disney.
It is. It was on Disney.
Yeah. So John decides, genius idea, set the fire alarms off, which is a good idea. Yeah, really good idea. Yeah. So fire alarms go off, and Hans Gruber's like, hang on, wait a minute. He's like, so call up, give him the building code or whatever, and tell him it's a false alarm. And then he's going to leave it at that. And then he thinks, hang on, I heard something bang upstairs, and you can see him sort of thinking. He asks Carl's brother to go up and have a look.
Carl's brother, considering that it's just speculation that there's someone up there, he's just fucking slinging a gun around, opening fire willy-nilly.
He's got John pinned behind that box, and he's like, I promise I won't hurt you. Just turns the corner and fucking.
That's quite the assumption that someone was behind there.
He looks like a classic German as well, doesn't he?
He's got like German is oozing.
Yeah. He's got like that proper like blonde sort of side part in.
And the little glasses.
Jeffrey Dahmer. I think he looks like Jeffrey Dahmer.
Well,
a little bit.
There were those German terrorists, weren't there, in the sort of 80s? The Bayern Munchhaus and whatever. They were like.
Hold on.
Factual.
I can't remember.
Wasn't that a book? The Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
I can't remember what. But there were these German terrorists in it, and it was like these the Bayern Munchhaus. I can't remember what it was. But they all used to dress like that. They all used to dress like really smart. And then we have John McClane, gun at the back of the head.
Traffic dickhead.
Yeah. But this is the thing though. John McClane could have handled this a lot better. Because he had the gun to his back of his head. So you would have been like, get on the fucking floor. Do you know what I mean? You got him on the floor, you'd have tied him up.
Well, you trying to knock him out with his elbow, wouldn't he?
Don't touch him up, knock him out!
I'll knock you out in a minute.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? He had the advantage and he just fucked it just by elbowing in the back of the head. It turned into a brawl. He was foolhardy.
Like they were flying through fucking drywall, weren't they? And like all sorts.
The fight in this is fucking brutal.
It's a great fight.
Every fight in it is brutal. And you always get really nasty wounds in it, which stay for the whole film.
He's got scrapes and
on his
grazes,
knuckles and his elbows are like something that would be like a hindrance to the rest of the fucking day. Do you know what I mean?
It's because you could tell like he's not supposed to be a trained fighter. He's a street fighter. He's just used to getting fucking people starting on him. He just goes hell for leather. And again, great practical death. Like fucking, he grabs him and some sort of fucking wrestling lock.
Imagine falling down a fucking flight of metal stairs with just a vest on.
He's dragging him with him.
Yeah, that dude being headlocked though, as he's like his body's flying over him, and he's like, It's like.
I mean, that really was. Considering he died and they went over full 360, that could have been either one of them that broke their neck.
Yeah, he was lucky there, wasn't he?
But still, when he got up, it was like, you know how the dead guy always comes back. Is like I thought a great way would have just been when he lifts his head up though and his eyes are open. I thought you could just use your heel, kick him in the dick.
Get his dick out.
You're not dead. No.
If you don't put it away, then you know.
Well, start with him. Like. If he was he still alive?
Gave-o.
Oh god!
Is that what you thought this film was? You went into it. So then he nicks Carl's brother's stuff.
Shoes won't fit.
He's got a radio off him.
Yeah.
Machine gun,
cigarettes,
ammo.
Yeah. So again, this is really clever. I mean, I never saw this bit coming, and this is where the film is like a lesser film wouldn't have done this next bit. I think it's so fucking clever. He ties him to the chair and he puts him back in the elevator. Then he spots the fairy lights, doesn't he? And I think we have a little bit of sort of jingle bells come in then as well, don't we? and then he blocks the elevator door, lets it go halfway down so he can then climb and go on top. I remember when I first watched this, I was thinking, what's he doing? I had no fucking idea. I always thought it was so fucking clever, this bit.
So he's getting information, but also putting the willies up them.
Yeah, he's trying to get them to drop their guard, isn't he, I think? Because it is a bit harsh sending that dead body down there.
Do you think he could have done better investigation if he hadn't sent that bloke down there? If he'd have just gone down them?
Right, so the thing is
he has alerted them to his presence.
Where the fuck he's got it from, I don't know, but it's lipstick or something, but he writes on Carl's brother's jumper, "Now I have a machine gun too, ho ho ho." A fucking slogan so iconic that it's 35 years later and that's now... Well, I think you've got a Christmas jumper, haven't you?
I do. I made it myself.
I think he's being real clever, and I think if he'd have crept down there and tried to listen, he'd been away from it all. He's dragged them all up to a bit. They're going to know when Carl's brother doesn't come back down that he's up there. And I think the other thing is he's thinking as well, he can't take all of them at once, but they can't all come and get him at once because they've got to guard those people. So I think he's thinking, if I can drag them off like a couple at a time.
I do think he
I've
didn't
got
have
a
to
better
antagonise him so much with that message, because if he'd have just sent the guy slumped down in the lift, I think they would have come to the lift, had the same conversation, may even have mentioned some more names. But writing "Now I have a machine gun too."
He's trying to intimidate them though, isn't he?
Yeah, but when they've got all the hostages, I always thought at that point, it's like, that's a big gamble, because they'll just be like, right, okay, come out, or we're shooting 5 hostages every 5 minutes.
They could have done that.
Do that a little bit later.
Yeah, you know, it's a bit like, well, you were playing devil's advocate there, mate.
As Hans and everybody sort of comes up to the dead body as it gets down to the bottom, they end up accidentally saying information that John's writing down on his hand. He's getting everyone's names, you know, Fritz,
Clever.
Hans, yeah, he's counting how many terrorists there are. It's like proper intel, so fucking clever. And then I think we have Hans Gruber saying like, someone's gonna have to tell Carl his brother is dead,
which is such a good dynamic for the film. Now Carl is fucking like got this vendetta.
Yeah, it's personal.
Yeah. This is personal.
Yeah, it's a great thing. It's used throughout, isn't it? Now it's a bit of a loose cannon throughout the film. It's the flying Hans Gruber's fucking ointment, isn't it? It's the first fuck up in his plan. So then we see that Carl's going to be coming down the elevator, and so you see him get up, and then we have that amazing bit where fucking the elevator shoots up to the roof. Love that bit.
He did that, didn't he? That's actually him doing it, wasn't it?
You always hear about a story as well, you did in the 80s, of fucking kids on the roofs of elevators and blocks of flats getting squished.
Yeah.
I bet it's fucking nuts riding the top of an elevator.
It'd not be a very good way to go, would it?
No, it'd be fucking shit.
Oh, it'd be awful. It'd be like train surfing. Do you remember when train surfing was a thing?
No.
Everyone would be like, trains and everyone would be dying. Yeah. Train surfing.
Was that in England? Or
I knew no one who train surfed.
I tell you what, Patrick Swayze went fucking train surfing with like Tom Cruise and all them, like when they were all like fucking 17 or 18, because he was a bit older than them when they were filming Red Dawn.
It's a good film.
Yeah. Then Carl flips the table. No blood!
I want blood, you'll have it!
Now, John McClane's at the top of the building, which is where his best place for him to use his radio.
He's got his radio off Carl's brother, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yes. Which again is quite cool that he's now all the way at the top and he's got to make his way back down or whatever. So we have the cool little interaction, and this is where like Bruce Willis is class in this film. He's that wisecracking.
That fucking woman is infuriating.
Oh, she's a real fucking character, isn't she?
He's doing everything he can to sort of say it's real, and she's just not having it. But he's like his thing on there. No fucking shit, lady. What do you think I'm trying to do? Order a pizza?
That's the most New York thing he says, I think.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's one of the best lines in the film.
But he just sounds.
No fucking shit, lady. Do I sound like I'm ordering a pizza?
They won't believe that there's an alternative call back on a different number. And again, it's that establishment that Eddie is a fucking idiot. It works in like institutional idiot.
This is lines I don't like in this, I think it's a bit wank, is when Hans Gruber's like, where's the best place to transmit from? The roof. It's like that was for us. He didn't need to say that.
Hans sends some of his men up to the roof, and then
before he signs off on that radio, the gunmen burst out on the roof and make a gunfire, and she hears it, and so she says, "I'll just send a black and white." So send one police car to check it out.
We have the scene on top of the roof of like Carl and some of the other henchmen trying to chase down John McClane, and he's like
there's 3 of them in there.
He's running around the roof doing that. We are introduced to, for the first time, to Al. Another fucking like character in this has their own story.
Yeah, that's
It's fucking amazing.
It's great.
All the characters in this have their own little arcs and stories. It's so fucking good.
Out of the film so long that I can't fight a bit towards the end, don't they?
He's in Ghostbusters playing the same role.
Yes, he is in Ghostbusters.
Okay, Ghostbusters. The mayor wants to see you guys. The whole island's going crazy.
He lets him out of prison. Mayor wants to speak to you. He's like just some bit part.
I haven't seen this for a long time. It keeps popping up on like Facebook reels of like Urkel.
I've only heard that name through The Simpsons.
Like Urkel.
Right, and so it was like some like TV show like Desmond's or something, like some American TV show. There's this one video that always comes up about a guy who's confronting these drug dealers who are on his block, and he gives them like the spiel like, I don't want you on my block and all this sort of stuff. But I've never realised until obviously like, watch this. And I was like, oh fuck me, it's that guy, because I never thought he was in anything.
He's a cop in Turner and Hooch as well.
He's got a small bit part in Die Hard 2 as well.
He has.
A returning cameo.
Yeah, that was a pointless cameo, I think.
It was, yeah.
Shoehorned.
So then we're introduced to Al, and we established that his wife is pregnant.
Is he buying those for him?
Yeah, of course he is.
Or is he actually buying them for her?
I think he's buying them for her.
Do you reckon?
I think he's going to have
He might have one or two.
Yeah, he would.
But he's buying a fuckload of Twinkies.
I love that the cashier as well. He's like, yeah, sure.
And do you reckon he knows that cashier?
He does, because at the end I thought, is this just like standoffish? But at the end he's like, beg it, like, you know. And then when he walks off, he's like, take the money. But you see their hands are more of a handshake, like he's passing the money.
You reckon they're comfortable holding hands?
I think that's his regular. I think that's his regular go-to.
So he walks out of the 7-Eleven or whatever it is, and he looks up and he sees on top of the Nakatomi Plaza there's fucking
great sit. I fucking love that shot. I love that shot.
Yeah, it's cool.
Just seeing like the fucking muzzle flashes and shit.
But he doesn't know they're gunfire, does he?
No, he doesn't. But I think he's looking. He's a bit like, that's.
There are flashing lights going on.
Yeah,
it's a helicopter pad.
I think it's dismissed as lights.
I don't know. I think he's like,
Yeah, because they're red, aren't they? The helicopter lights and all that sort of shit are the red ones, and they're all. So they're like you have the ones for planes and shit. So those just those little white ones. Fucking brilliant.
Yeah, it's fucking great shot. So now we're back up onto the roof with John McClane as he's being chased by Carl and the other sort of henchmen, and then he pops in through this door and they kind of like trying to shoot their way through it, and John finds a fan, part of the aircon system or whatever.
But it's moving just too fast to be able to get through it, isn't it? Just too fast.
Do you reckon he could have done it? Do you reckon he could have
it was worth a gamble, but yeah, it is a gamble.
You wouldn't want catching you on the leg or something as you climb through it, would you?
No, that'd be shit, wouldn't it? I mean, I thought like, why don't you just shoot it to stop it? Like shoot it, but he's trying to wants to get through it, so they can't get through it.
And also he lets off like a burst through the door to slow them down even more.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's like it gives him just that little bit extra time to get through there as well, which I thought was great.
So John McClane manages to get through the fan bit, and then we have the air duct where he's using the gun to like
ballsy.
Man, fucking so tense this bit. And so the strap on the gun like comes loose, and he falls like a little bit too early and misses a jump. But do you know that wasn't planned?
I was going to say, whoever filmed that stunt bounced. They didn't hit the mark. I don't know how deep that shaft was, but they didn't make that catch and they fell. Whoever did it.
The stuntman was supposed to grab the one he was trying to get to, and he fucked it. But he got the other one, and then so they kept that in.
Bet that hurt.
Yeah, man.
That's like fucking 1988 parkour or something.
But that's again what his film's so good, because he's not like, you know, Arnie would have made that.
Yeah, he would have got it there.
But you know what I mean? Like most action films, they would have like, done that in one end. But the fact that he fucks his stuff up and he's not like fucking brilliant at it. So he climbs up into the air vent, and then we have the classic line: "Come to the coast, get together, have a few laughs." Yeah.
Come to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs.
Which again was improvised, wasn't it? On the set, they tried to find a line for that bit and they couldn't come up with it. A lot of the lines in this were improvised. But then we cut to that shot. It's a great shot. You see the light from his.
But you can see him because every time he gets ahead, or any time either one of them gets ahead, the other one's fucking nipping at the heels. It's like a cat and mouse all the way through, isn't it?
And Carl, he ducks out of there well quick. So Carl walks into the room and he knows he's in the air vent somewhere.
That's fucking tense.
Yeah,
it's so tense. He's
right up back as far as he can go, but he's over a grate, isn't he? So he can see Carl checking. But first of all, Carl unloads a line of fire.
He's lucky,
and he's just out of reach. And then, but Carl starts going along, poking. It's like the sort of air vent in fucking Goldeneye in James Bond, isn't it? Like, you know, when you start in, he's in the air vent. So he's like kind of just jabbing at it.
That bullet hole makes a good sizzling sound next to his face.
It does, yeah. It goes incredibly close.
John McClane can see him coming, can't he?
But and then Al arrives and they're called away by Hans Gruber.
That's right, that comes through over the radio for them to all get back to wherever they are, and he stops like inches from John McClane.
And so then we have Alan turns up at Nakatomi Plaza.
Did you say Alan?
Alan, yes.
Alan Powell.
Alan Powell. He turns up, and we've got the guy who's pretending to be the security.
He's fucking great. He plays such a good part of being a fucking good liar.
He's fucking cool as a cucumber, isn't he?
He is.
You can see he's like, fuck,
he's ready to pounce, though, isn't he?
But he don't break a sweat, does he?
Well, that's that bit when he says to him, "Mind if I take a quick look around?" He doesn't even look at him. He's like, he just lifts a hand. He's like, "Go for it."
He's like, "Hey, officer, what can I do for you?" So Hal comes in and he's having a look around, and you see his fucking Christmas Eve. He needs to go into his pregnant.
There's the guy in the very foreground holding a gun. You know, if he takes another couple of steps, he's going to
kill
him.
But you see Hal's weighing up. He's like, "Fuck, can I be asked for some Christmas Eve?" And it doesn't look like there's anything up here. And he just turns around. He's like, "Oh, fuck this," or whatever. And he goes back to his car, and all the terrorists breathe a sort of sigh of relief. So he gets in the car, and
John McClane has been trying to smash the window, hasn't he, to alert him.
And as he's doing that, that's when two henchmen come in, and they have that fucking awesome shootout. So when the one guy comes over first, he's like, no, don't shoot, don't shoot.
Yeah.
And then the other guy comes behind him, he drops down to the floor and starts shooting him. But those guys came from up on the roof, didn't they?
Yeah, they were setting the detonators.
They were setting the C4 detonators, weren't they, up on the roof?
Yeah, he shoots the one guy when he bursts in.
And then the other guy jumps on top of the table, and like John's like going underneath, and it's that zigzag table by where the shot Takagi, isn't it?
Has anybody noticed anything about this scene when John unloads on him?
Oh, but so they get to the end of the table, and as the bad guy reloads the gun, he says to John McClane, next time you have a chance to kill someone, take it.
Yeah.
Thanks for the advice.
Thanks for the advice.
He riddles him from underneath.
If you watch it back, all the squibs go off on the guy's legs and upper thighs, and he's shot so many times, the trajectory of the guy, he's going back, there's not a single shot in his head or his chest. So I'm assuming that while he was unloading on his legs and everything, he got shot in the dick and went up into his...
He would have been shot in the gooch or ass, wouldn't he?
Because if you pause it, all the squibs are just on his legs and trousers.
Would have gone up into his body, wouldn't it?
He was getting shot from underneath.
He shot his dick off.
Just imagine being fucking shot in the shin like
Shot
3 times. Like, oh, fuck! No, stop it!
That would fucking burn.
Would it be bouncing around his fucking body, wouldn't it?
Not through the legs, I don't think. They go out the other way, but I think there's got to have been some in the gooch and...
Didn't the IRA used to do that to like fucking people who
They used to kneecap people.
But they used to shoot them like down, didn't they? They used to shoot it through the leg, I think, so it went down.
Fucking hell, that would just shatter your leg.
Yeah.
Fuck me, that'd be fucking horrendous. Yeah, so John McClane obviously shoots that guy, then he throws the body out of the window, which lands on Al's car.
Yeah, he shits his pants.
It's a proper prayer.
Oh, Jesus.
Then he actually starts praying straight away while he's reversing.
One of the top 5 classic lines out of this film is fucking "Welcome to the party, pal."
Welcome to the party, pal.
That's always on the fucking trailer whenever it was on TV.
It's such a good shot.
Great stance as well, though.
Yeah.
He's like looking over his shoulder with a machine gun up.
Yeah.
And the music cue with it as well is fucking amazing.
It's fucking brilliant. But when that body fell on Al's car, was the fact, you know, he's singing "Let it snow, let it snow."
Yeah.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
I mean, it definitely qualifies as a Christmas film. There's been so much Christmas in it so far.
I mean, there's a Christmas tree in the party as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
I'm feeling, you know, if it's Christmas Eve and watch this, I'm feeling pretty fucking Christmas Eve around this point. And then obviously Al reverses.
Everyone just like everyone burst into life.
He does not stop reversing.
He wouldn't.
He just keeps going.
He just reverse off that in back. It's like, I'll do.
Yeah, so he's radioing into the police department about it all. And I think this is the bit where we see Thornburg.
That's it. He's listening to it, isn't he?
He's got a scanner, hasn't he? So he's listening in on the police calls.
Was it Richard Thornburg? And he's
Walter Peck.
I'm Walter Peck.
He is Walter Peck, but man, this guy, I can't remember his name.
Absolute 80s arsehole.
Fucking brilliant.
He's amazing.
Plays probably the best 80s arsehole, doesn't he?
He makes you want to kill him, doesn't he? He makes you literally want to thump him straight in the
bastard.
Eat it, Harvey.
Well, that Harvey's a twat as well, isn't he?
That fucking bit is hilarious because when that anchor's staring at him and he's like, Harvey, we're on. And he like does his introduction and then he just like, when the camera's off him, he like stares straight back at him.
Man, I could definitely watch like a TV series based around
like Parks and Rec.
Do you know what I mean? With all
You've got the Mum at Goonies as well, didn't you? The
Yes, yeah. I thought she was brilliant.
Fuck, yes, that's who it is. Yeah.
She's in loads of 80s stuff.
She is.
She's the mum in. She's the mum in Goonies and the mum in
Monster Squad. And she's the cop in Back to the Future 2.
And she's in Lethal Weapon 3, I think, isn't she?
Yeah.
I think there's a show in Harvey and Thornburg that would just be funny enough on its own.
Well, that's the thing. It's another case of this film just having these like sort of side characters who are so well fleshed out, and you can like you automatically without
fucking hate each other,
and you just like you know everything you need to know about him, everything about his work.
It's the first 10 seconds you see them both together, and it's like, well, they're good mates.
But that fucking Harvey is like later on when they're new book, hostage terrorist hostage. He's like from Helsinki. Sweden. He's like Finland. He's a real twat, isn't he?
The producer's got his head in his hands when he says that.
But yeah, it's just like a load of character given to this. Just like he's not even a character, is he? He's hardly in it, but he's got such character.
He's brilliant.
Yeah, so we cut to Hans, don't we? And he's on the radio, and then John McClane cuts in.
And
he introduces himself, and then we have a first interaction between these two titans.
Yeah.
This is a dick swinging contest.
Yeah,
it is.
No holds barred.
John McClane's big New York dick.
Yeah.
Who's in New York dick?
German sausage.
Hans Gruber's gigantic German sausage.
Bruce Willis's hot dog.
Yes, this is Hans Gruber's Bratwurst. Is what it's on. Is about to do. So yeah, we're going to cut here then, guys, and we'll be back for part 2 because this is such a mammoth film.
Yes, VHS Showdown will continue after the news.
See you then.
Ho ho ho.
Ho 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 ho.